Let's think about God for a minute and find out something about him. Why is he not visible? Why don't we see God? Now, some people say we don't see him because, well, he's not the kind of thing that you can see. He's kind of a spirit. He's a thought. He's a feeling, which, of course, is terrible. God is the creator of all things. So if I can see his creation, which is merely a produced product, why can't I see the real thing, which is him? I should certainly be able to see him. Other people say you can't see God because you're not holy, and your eyes are not holy. If you had holy eyes, you would be able to see God. It's a little better, but it's still not a good answer, because I'm not asking why don't we see holiness. I'm asking why don't we see God. Now, you can see a holy person and not even recognize that he's holy, and that's because you're not the connoisseur on holiness. But you're going to see the person. You will miss the holiness if you don't have holy eyes. So I would understand that we could see God and not see the holiness because our eyes are not attuned to holiness. But why don't we see him who is more real than anything he created? So the only good answer, proper answer, is we don't see him because he chooses not to be seen. Which means naturally, logically, we should see him. Everyone should see him because he's real. The reason we don't see him is because he does something to prevent us from seeing him. Now, why would he do that? Just to make things difficult. Some say he does that to give us freedom of choice. If we saw him, then we would have no freedom of choice. We would naturally have to be good, and we would be incapable of sinning. But that doesn't seem to be the case either. The Jews saw God, heard God face to face at Mount Sinai, and 40 days later they sinned. So it doesn't take away your freedom of choice to know that God is real. Very real. You still have the choice of serving him or serving yourself. So why would God make himself unseen? It's because God wants to be known rather than seen. When you see someone, your curiosity is satisfied. The eye has pleasure from seeing what is beautiful or what is interesting. And when the pleasure of the eye is satisfied, you don't bother going any further. Seeing people doesn't lead to an intimate understanding. On the contrary, it distracts you. So God is basically saying, I want to have a relationship with my creations, but an intimate relationship. I want you to know me, don't see me. And because we don't see God, we are still, all these years, since creation, since the giving of the Ten Commandments at Mount Sinai, we are still fascinated with God. What does he want? What is he asking? Why? Why does he do this? Why does he let that happen? We're fascinated with God because we're getting to know him as a result of not seeing him. And the same is true to some degree in human relations. Modesty demands an intimacy. If you're going to get to know me, it would have to be through your mind, through hearing, through thinking, through sensitivity. Seeing is easy. It doesn't make for a deep relationship.